When it comes to Doctor Who Series 12, whether it succeeds in its goals and whether it actually succeeds as a piece of quality storytelling have for the most part been entirely different questions. Overall, the writing quality has been very hit and miss, much like with Series 11, but the major difference this time round is that Chris Chibnall decided to throw a load of curveballs into the mix by bringing back the Master, bringing in alternate versions of the Doctor, prophecies about half-converted Cybermen, and not least of all destroying Gallifrey, all of which have kept the fanbase thoroughly occupied, with theories and speculation sprouting up all over the internet like a giant wave, drowning out all of the meaningless drivel about viewing figures and political correctness, as well as distracting from legitimate flaws in the writing. These kind of misdirection tactics were a favourite tool of Stephen Moffat, and the reason why I'm more forgiving of it here is that unlike Moffat, Chibnall actually delivers a payoff worthy of all the hype. The Timeless Children has produced all kinds of reactions, ranging from those who are desperately trying to reconcile all the new lore it introduces with pre-existing canon, to those fans who are legitimately angry. That anger is misplaced, we'll get onto that in a minute, but nonetheless it is precisely the kind of strong response Doctor Who needed right now. Can you honestly imagine last year's finale producing such heated debate among fans? I don't think so. What's more, Chibnall manages to pay off all of, well, almost all of, the loose threads from earlier in the series, while also producing a highly serviceable, good quality script. Yeah, almost all the criticisms I've heard of this episode can be countered really easily. Of those not directly related to the lore stuff, there's the Cyber Time Lords being fanficky. I don't even know what to say to that, that's not even a criticism. Then there's the fact that the Doctor spends a large part of the episode immobilised and helpless without any agency, but isn't that exactly what happens in Midnight? Funny no one complained about it then. This finale is all about showing the Doctor at her most vulnerable, both physically and mentally, as the Master attempts to break her, and the scene in The Matrix where she is screaming for the Master to show her the truth, a far cry from her usual quirky persona, is serious high-stakes television that had me gripped to my seat watching this episode. And the truth is every bit as significant as Chibnall has built it up to be. Look, if this was the Moffat era, we wouldn't even be getting a satisfactory answer to what the Timeless Child is, so whether you like it or not, at least we got an answer. The most common complaint I've seen regarding the revelations is a very vague one that can be best summarised by Matt from the Whoniversals.
The Doctor created a civilization. It's just like, knowingly or not, that just ruins the idea of the Doctor in my head, because the Doctor, part of the Doctor's charm for me was just they were an outsider from their own people. They went away, but then they discovered, hey, I just want to travel and I want to help people.
I'm sorry, what episode were you watching? She is literally still all of those things. Okay, she may have had a passive role in the creation of Time Lord regeneration cycles, but that's it. This isn't like the Cartmel master plan. She herself is not the founder of Time Lord Society or the Chosen One. All of that was other people who experimented on and exploited her as a child, later going on to wipe her memory. It does not make the Doctor into a space deity. Literally all it does is make her origin more mysterious again, as it was in the early years of the show. See, what a lot of people don't seem to get about the Timeless Children is that it is a very self-aware celebration and deconstruction of both the multiplicity and arbitrary nature of lore and canon as a concept. Think about it. What Chibnall has essentially done is written in a way for every non-canonical version of the Doctor to now become canon, be it the Schalke Doctor, the Morbius Doctors, the Rowan Atkinson Doctor, or literally any incarnation of any fan's creation. Hell, even the versions from those creepy porn parodies Dimmy reviewed that one time can now be canon for anyone who wanted them to be. And this brings us on to yet another criticism I've heard all too often, most notably from Council of Geeks.
The Doctor is not going to change from this revelation as a person, as a personality. It's not going to change her approach. She basically got slapped upside the head by Ruth. You're the same person, which is good, but if she's the same person, what was the point?
Tell me again, why does there have to be a point to the new lore Chibnall has introduced? The revelations serve a function within the episode as the Master uses them to attempt to destabilise the Doctor. That's the conflict. And he doesn't succeed because, as stated above, the episode's point is that there is no point. Our past does not define who we are today, and on a more meta level, for all of those who get bogged down in lore and canon, the past of this nearly 60-year-old TV show does not define what it is today. That is the message of the Timeless Children. It's like like Twice Upon a Time, but done like a million times better. To have the revelations change the Doctor as a character in any significant way would not only be unnecessary, but it would fundamentally go against the very core of what the episode is trying to say. Back when we discussed how Moffat ruins Doctor Who, I described Chris Chibnall's iteration of the programme as bland, forgettable, and by the numbers. Now, I could have a moment of humility here and admit that I was wrong, but the fact is that Chibnall listened to the criticism and he responded. The Timeless Children is an episode that rocks the very foundations of the show, and yet in doing so, it reinforces just how sturdy they are. It's bold, it's brave, and it's brilliant. I'm Midnight, and I travel in time and space, and trains.